Developing tonight, recreational marijuana has now been legal in Ohio for 5 days now.
But lawmakers are still negotiating how to fully implement the law voters passed in November. 10 TV political reporter Doug Petcash caught up with lawmakers for an update on where things stand. He joins us live from the State House with that. Doug?
Yolanda and Andrew, lawmakers said today that negotiations are going well and they've been productive, but they still have some negotiating to do over some key details, and that work could carry over into next year after the holiday break. Meantime, recreational marijuana is legal in Ohio, but there's still no place to buy it.
That we ensure that funding that's dedicated to cannabis social equity remains.
As the House Finance Committee hears more testimony on House Bill 354 that would make changes to the Issue 2 law voters passed in November, lawmakers in both parties and both chambers negotiate how the new law should be fully implemented. Key issues include the rate at which marijuana sales and cultivation should be taxed and where the revenue should go.
I think we want to make sure that the tax rate is not so high that, number one, in places like Toledo, that we're sending people across state lines, or number two, that we're just incentivizing the black market.
There are certain buckets that we all agree, law enforcement, mental health addiction services, local communities.
Last week, the state Senate passed a bill that would, among other things, allow recreational marijuana to be sold at medical marijuana dispensaries immediately.
I think that is something to consider. I think it's not a horrible idea. It's just, how do you actually administer those types of things?
The Senate bill would also expunge the records of those with prior convictions for possessing marijuana.
I think that's something that the House and the Senate both agree on. It's just a matter of how.
As the negotiations go on, House Speaker Republican Jason Stephens says he doesn't think anything about marijuana will be on the floor for a vote Wednesday.
We can't let the urgent get in the way of the important. And the reason it's just such a big change in Ohio's law, culture, all of these things, that we need to be deliberative about it.
The status quo is Issue 2 as it was passed by voters. So this is moving forward to, if we don't act, which is certainly an interesting position to be in when you're doing negotiations.
We want to make sure we get it right rather than quickly.
Now, the legislature is set to go on break after this week, on holiday break. A breakthrough, though, on the marijuana issue could happen in the next couple of days. But Speaker Stephens says this is not a lame duck legislature, and more sessions are scheduled for January. So the work could again carry over into next year. Live at the State House, Doug Petcash, 10 TV News.